Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a very special episode of the Kerbal Space Program. In the previous ELU endeavour, I invited you viewers to send in some crafts. And you did! In full force! The three categories were Atmospheric Kerbin Plane, Space Tug of some sort, and Duna Rover. And pretty much the submissions I got were actually above and beyond those requirements. So, in order to actually see which ones are suitable for use in my upcoming series, we're going to have to take a look at them with my own eyes. And with your eyes as well. I have put them all in the spaceplane hangar section of the save file of my sandbox game. So, once we click on this, we are going to see a very long list. A very, very long list. And as you can see, this is my first time looking at this, but as you can see, two of them contain invalid parts. Guys, I said stock only. Well, I didn't really say. The problem I had was that I didn't really say an awful lot of requirements at all, or limitations, I suppose is a better word. So I was there like, yeah, I'm playing stock. I didn't specifically say, don't give me stock, don't give me modded parts, but still. It seems like those are the only two detected by this category at any rate. So, without further ado, let us begin with the first submission, CE Jet 1_4. 87 parts in one stage, being flown today by our test pilot Jebediah Kerman. The CE Jet _14, submitted by Calistron Entertainment. It says here. Calistron Entertainment. That's a very cool name. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see the actual email itself. I've just created a list of submissions and their respective entries. So, if you have instructions, I'm afraid they... What the hell is happening to the camera? Okay. The camera is no longer rotating around. Oh, I've been playing too much of another game. I'm sorry. Epic fail moment. I was just like, why isn't the camera rotating me around the craft? Yeah, that's right. It's because we don't use the camera. We use the what the hell do we use to rotate the camera around? That's it. It's the right click. You can tell I haven't played KSP in a little while. I've been doing model making in Blender, okay? I'm working on a very big and exciting project, so don't blame me. Just give me a chance. Without further ado, the submission from Calistron Entertainment. Thank you very much. And this looks like, frankly, a mess of parts, but it looks impressive, I'll give you that. 4 high-altitude jet engines, equipped with 4, I forgot what they are called, 4 intakes, and fuel lines to feed each one of them, with plenty of wing surfaces. This thing, I bet, will get an awful lot of glide time. Jebediah, shall we take it on a bit of a trip? I think we shall. And turning off the brakes in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Well, I'm pitching up. And it hasn't taken off yet. So there we go. 120 something takeoff speed. Right, now without any trimming, without any SAS, we're going to do a few laps and see how this thing controls. There are a variety of uses that I may be using atmospheric jets for on Kerbin, because the upcoming series is going to have a bit of a pseudo-storyline behind it. I think I already mentioned this. Essentially, what's going to happen is that... Actually, I don't think I want to ruin it. The entire storyline is going to revolve around the idea of leaving Kerbin, which means there's going to be an awful lot of parts put into space, and then we're going to have to survive solely on those parts. And we're basically going to lose access to the VAB and spaceplane hangar facilities. That's my idea. I'm going to see how long I can survive and do interesting things under that situation. Now also, I do have a single mod installed. I know I flipped out a bit when I was talking about not having mods. This isn't a parts mod or even a functionality mod, this is just a camera mod, which might make this a bit more enjoyable. Free. Improve chase cam on. There we go. Yeah, there you go. Improve chase cam. Right, so my verdict so far just from flying this around, it's pretty stable. If I take it back over land, it doesn't have a tendency to flip out if you push it too hard, which is nice. So it'll do this, which is pretty nice. If I just fly level now, it has a tendency to pitch up, which is to be expected from most planes, especially when we're draining fuel. So I'm going to trim forwards now. As you can see, the chase camera gives you a bit of leniency. It doesn't stick the camera rigidly to the plane itself, but rather to the velocity vector. Okay, there we go. I've trimmed and we're just about level now. It can do acrobatics, but not incredibly well, it seems. And also the chase camera is flipping out. Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. There we go. I think I've recovered. Okay, so we can do some acrobatics, but not to a fantastic extent. Right. Noted. Noted indeed. What else? How else should we test this? Let's go in for a landing and then move on to the next craft, because we're going to have to go through these fairly quickly. But so far, that's a bit of a tick next to this guy's name. Although the distance... we'll have to see about the distance. It doesn't look like it carries an awful lot of fuel. Alright, bringing it in. Turned off my throttle. Need to get myself over the runway before I run out of runway. Okay, turn back. And round and round and round. Come on, and pitch up. Ooh, a bit too late, but hey, it was a landing. Brakes on. And overall, a pretty sturdy plane. I'm quite happy with that, actually. Look at the beautiful Union Jeb there. Look at it. Look at it whilst I sneeze. Isn't it beautiful? It really is. Right, so let's take a look at this thing now it's on the ground. I think it is definitely a contender for the role of the plane, or multiple planes. I'm struggling to think exactly how I need these planes to be. It might be that I need space planes, and I probably should have said that. Single stages to orbit. We'll see if we have any in here. I'm going to put... next to your name, Calistron Entertainment, thank you very much for your submission. A rating of... I'm not going to do scores. I'll give you a tick. As a recognition of functionality and overall build quality. Thank you very much for the submission. So, we're returning to the spaceplane hangar. Oh, to the runway, it ought to be. To the space center itself. This is going to be quite a long recording. Okay. So, we've had a CE Jet 1-4. Next is the Duna Land Bus. The Duna Land Bus. We have 55 parts in 1 stages. And hitchhiker storage container... 2 hitchhiker storage containers and 1 cupola module. That is impressive. I'm going to put 1 guy in each of the storage containers. And let's go hire a load of crew. All of you! You will all be my beautiful test pilots. Phil. There we go. Be careful when braking and don't try to reverse when doing it. Oh, I didn't even read... Ah, he left no description. Okay. Phil. Be careful when braking and don't try to reverse. I'll keep that in mind. The Duna Land Bust. Bust? The Duna Land Bus. Submitted by... I'm trying to find it on this list. I have a list that I made, and I can't see the Duna Land Bust on there. Hang on, I'll search it in my email folder. Duna Land Bus. Or Bust, as I shall continue to call it. Greyman Gaming. Greyman Gaming. A shuttle that is used to carry Kerbals from their landing site on Duna to the base you have set up. And look at this. Because I've been making buggies in KSP rather recently, I was expecting to see something that involved significantly more metal plates. But no, this... it seems functional. Apparently I'm supposed to be careful when braking. Which is going to be funny. Let's retract. Oh. Oh. It doesn't feel like this is contributing to science. And I accidentally did the crew report. I didn't mean to do that. I was meaning to retract the ladder. Ah, I'm going to keep on making that same mistake when I do Blender. No, not crew report, retract ladder. Here we go. So, the Duna Land Bus. Weighing in at something like 1 million tons. 24 tons, 24 tons. Another limitation I didn't put in, which I probably should have done, was mass. But, we'll see. We'll see. So this is intended for driving around on Duna. And we're going to see exactly what happens when I brake after I finish testing this thing out. Equipped with plenty of lights, this thing will certainly be able to cover the distance. And with these massive wheels, I don't think the rocky or even cliff nature of Duna is really going to impede this guy's travel. Oh, you know what's going to be perfect? This. Now just imagine this with Oculus Rift. I'm going to do that. My Dev Kit 2 comes in July. I am definitely going to do that. And also look at the potential for cinematics. Da-dum. 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 That's enough of that. So, surface velocity, 12 meters per second. In realistic terms, 12 meters per second. Oh, look, it's the launch tower. Or the airplane tower. Huh. Looks quite nice from this angle. Sorry, what was I saying? The surface velocity, we're going off-road, is 12 meters per second, which in realistic terms is actually rather fast. That's quite a few miles per hour. I'm not sure of my conversions. It's probably something in the region of 20 miles per hour, which is pretty fast for a bus on an alien planet that's got no roads. However, it's also kind of slow compared to the speeds that we can see from other craft. So this thing being kind of slow may be a hindrance to it. Let's have a look at... But I think the best thing about this... Oh, we're... That's the ground! We actually can't see where we're going. Okay. What about this one? Sky and... What is that? What is that? I can't tell what's going on. Oh, okay. Luckily we're just driving straight forwards into a wall. Turn, 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 turn. Oh, ooh, ooh. Okay. Okay. So it's kind of slow, but as I was saying... What was I saying? I was definitely saying something. Is it me, or did that reversing seem really quick? Hang on. That reversing then was like 1,000,000 miles per hour. No, it is roughly the same. Okay, so... It is... Yeah, the best thing about this is probably the interiors. Just looking and seeing the Kerbals and looking out the very tiny windows. However, it is a bit big, it is a bit cumbersome. The crew capacity is good, but I'm not sure I'm going to be dealing with that many crew. Although if I'm having to try and abandon Kerbin completely, I guess it might be a good idea. The turning circle is terrible. Oh. Well, there goes one of our inhabitants. The turning circle is not great. Not that I'll need a fantastic turning circle, necessarily, but... yeah. Unfortunately, Greyman Gaming, thank you very much for the submission, but I don't think this is going to be the most suitable for what I have in mind. Nonetheless, it is a very entertaining craft, and now we're going to see exactly what happens if we don't hit this flagpole. Ooh, oh, we hit the flagpole, we hit the flagpole. It can survive a beating, I'll give it that. It can definitely survive a beating. Okay, what if I brake now? Ah, it's okay. Braking worked fine. Thank you very much for the submission, Greyman Gaming. Let me find your name and put a tick next to it. Oh wait, is that right? I don't have it on this list. I swear I did. Yes, I do. Greyman Gaming, you've also submitted another craft, which we shall be seeing later. So, thank you very much. And to return... Nope, resume flight. And to recover the vessel. So that was a shuttle. To carry Kerbals from landing site to the base. Yeah, there'll be all sorts of different things going on this series. We're just taking a look at all these crafts. The third that we shall be testing is the Duna Mobile. That might want to be mobile platform. With no description. But with 4 seats. Proceed anyway. Oh. Oh, it was not meant to be launched. Well, we'll launch it on the runway anyway. It's intended for the vehicle assembly building and for the launch pad. But hey, we can see it on the runway, can't we? Of course we can. Right, so, this craft is... Drumroll please. another rover. A Duna mobile platform of sorts. See, now this is almost the exact opposite from what we just saw. In terms of very low riding, this is, whereas that was quite high riding. Using those metal plates that I was talking about. With extra seats on the side, I notice, as well. This seems rather interesting. The Duna mobile platform submitted by Jeremy Clarkson, apparently. Whoa, Jeremy Clarkson! It's a great honour to have you on the show, sir. Thank you very much for sending in this, which drives backwards, actually. I wonder if docking mode will improve matters. Nope, forwards is backwards and backwards is forwards. That's fine. It's probably just been, yeah, it's been turned around, hasn't it? Because it was on the VAB. Let's turn it 180 degrees. Equipped with parachutes, equipped with lights. Funky blue lights. Funky blue lights. God, I'm liking this. So, 17, 18, 19, 20. This is what I mean about the other one being a bit slow. The use of the other big wheels limited its top speed. However, this thing may not be the best because it is quite low riding. However, it does look symmetrical, which is good because we'll be able to launch it really easily. It's light. It looks like it might be able to... Yeah, the turning circle's pretty good. Equipped even with ladders, and parachutes, and science facilities, and lots of Union Jeb flags. This is looking very promising. There's not an awful lot to it than that, though, I guess. It's very simplistic in its nature. It does exactly what it expects, what you would expect it to do. It's a mobile research platform. I can see us having a use for this. Yeah, I can see us having a use. And the added ease with which I'll be able to get this into orbit is certainly useful. We may end up flat packing or launching a lot of these crafts at once. So it's useful to have a central centre of mass. Let's see, can we drive it? We can drive it from this perspective as well. Although there is a line in front, which isn't particularly great. Who? Turning! I'm quite enjoying this, actually, just driving around from this perspective. I can't see because there's this bar, but I'm managing to traverse fairly well off the edge. Oh, let's see how it handles terrain. Oh. We're okay. Yeah, that is a definite tick next to the Duna mobile platform from Jeremy Clarkson. And it even survives a bit of a crash. Thank you very much for your submission. Moving on to the next craft. This is going to be a long day. There are about 34 submissions that I have to look through. So, right. The next one is the MTech Falcon Low Density Plane. The Falcon was produced to fill a need for a lightweight and efficient aircraft designed for operations in low density atmospheres, such as that on Duna. Ah, so this is a Duna plane, okay. With liquid oxygen propulsion system and approximately 1,800 meters per second of delta V, as well as a dedicated refueler, the Falcon is an extremely versatile plane, able to explore Duna and enrich the resources of any base, even able to return to orbit under its own power. Sounds very good so far. Action groups, even has a tutorial. Main engines, 1. Takeoff assist thrusters, 2. Takeoff assist thrusters. Deceleration thrusters, 3. Solar panels, 4. Ladder, 5. 0 flight escape system. You need to do the parachute yourself. Submitted by Emily Hunt. Thank you very much. Terrafermi. If I remember rightly, I've actually had a few emails back and forth with you. Yeah, thank you very much for your submission. You also have another one which we'll be looking at next, but let's look at this for now. The low-density Duna plane, or whatever it was called, submitted by MTech. I like the name of that, MTech. Could I be HOCtech? It's a bit more difficult to say. Right, let's take a look at this, the Falcon. You have to admit, it doesn't look that impressive. I think there's something to do with the cylindrical fuel tanks with wings mounted on that looks a bit silly. Like it's a really thin body and then massive wings. But I'm not going to judge anything by its cover. We're going to lift off. Main engines activated with 1, if I remember rightly. Oh, it... Oh. Huh. It entirely uses... Right, it's not atmospheric. Of course it's not. It's intended for Duna. Of course it doesn't use atmospheric engines. What the hell am I talking about? Okay, let's retract our ladder. Okay, first things first. Let us... I should have done first person view from the other one, shouldn't I? Free camera mode with chase cam. Would you please not point this way? Wait. Excuse me, sir. Okay, chase camera mode with chase cam. There. This mod is not the most stable, I have to admit. Let's turn them off. Let's just fly this thing on its own merits and hope we haven't crashed. Okay, we haven't. Fantastic. So, the Duna, the whatever it was called, the MTech Falcon by Emily Hunt. Using non-air-breathing engines makes it very difficult to get longevity out of your plane. But this thing has had surprisingly large fuel capacity. Apparently it was roughly 1,700 meters per second delta V, which should be enough to return to orbit on Duna, yeah. It does have a tendency to pitch forwards, but I reckon as the fuel drains... Oh, hang on, those aren't even fuel tanks, those are actually just structural lines. Fuel tank, not a fuel tank, not a fuel tank. Okay. Huh, interesting. So it's entirely using just one fuel tank. That is interesting, actually. It's got a docking port on it, which will make this... I'll be able to launch this with that on the top, which is useful. Maneuverability, it flies quite nice and steadily. It's not quick to do barrel rolls, or aileron rolls, for those of you who will undoubtedly detect the difference. But it is quick to turn like this, without flipping out. So, I'm actually quite impressed with this. And... as it is the only one I know of yet that has been submitted specifically for Duna, which I may want a plane in. I think it would be quite interesting to have a Duna plane. This seems to be a tick. We're going to have to rush through these entries fairly quickly, so forgive me if I am a little brief, but I'm quite liking the look of that. I'm quite liking the look at considerably. Pressing for eject the solar panels. I was wondering, why would we have solar panel things? Oh, it's because I was moving through atmosphere. I'm such an idiot. It was those, wasn't it? I opened them and the atmosphere blew them away. I was wondering, what is the use of ejecting solar panels? Oh, there goes some more. And bring it down for a landing. Nice and gently. Gently. There we go. Really nice. Brakes on. And slowing down to a halt. That is quite nice. The MTech Falcon, submitted by Emily. Tick. There we go. Really does look rather nice. Now, your next submission was, if I remember rightly, some sort of rover? Hang on. Let's take a look here. The next submission is the MTech Falcon Refueler. Accompanying refueler for the MTech Falcon, able to deorbit into its own thrust. Okay, let's take a quick look at this. It is a probe body, no crew capacity, which is fine, a bit of deviation from the standard. Let's see if I can find this on my list. I can't quite see it. Well, it goes with the MTech Falcon, so it's not important. Oh, is this thing able to land? Yeah, plenty of parachutes, plenty of... Right. Yes, I can see this being of use. This is basically a mobile refueling thing. Whoa! However, it doesn't drive particularly well. I'm going to give that one more chance. Hang on. Revert to launch. It does look like it'll be quite useful. However, I think if we can, we'll probably end up using a different, more dedicated refueler, rather than one custom built for the purpose. Let's put docking mode on with fine control. Ooh. Ooh. It seems really fat, and it's very humorous. Ooh. Oh. Oh, and there are the wheels, and there are the explosions. Ah, it can't drive for anything. But it is very humorous, I'll give you that. We'll probably end up using a dedicated refueler, but thank you very much for the submission at any rate. I'm going to have to revert to launch and then recover vessel, I believe. Here we go. Right, let's see what's next on the list. So, coming up next, the Epsilon Mark III. 127 parts in 1 stages. My best plane ever! 'Tis easy to use and easy to master. 1 toggles engines, 2 toggles steering. You could literally fly this thing with one of the engines or with half the plane destroyed, though I wouldn't recommend it. Parts clipping may or may not have been used, though it's probably the latter. Well, that's fine. Part clipping is absolutely fine. So the Epsilon Mark III, submitted by... Let me take a look here. Epsilon Mark III, submitted by Sir Tatalot. Sir Tatalot. Right. Spelt S-E-R, Tate, a lot, all one word. Interesting. Hey, look at this! This looks nice. I like the look of this plane. It looks like that'll overheat. Are any of these a VTOL, I wonder? Are any of these submissions a VTOL? 1 toggles main engines. Okay. 1. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. The action groups don't work. I'm literally pressing all the action groups, and they're not working. Back to standard flying, I guess. Does this thing have parachutes? I'm not sure. Also, why are intakes facing upwards? Is that so that when it's plummeting down, upside down, it'll get extra fuel? Interesting. Or is it just to make it look nice? Because if it is the latter, it certainly works. Whoa, this thing is responsive. Okay, let's go on fine control. It takes off really quickly, which is going to be useful in the series, because we may not be landing in the most convenient of places. It is very responsive, but it doesn't seem to flame out. Very acrobatic, look at that. Look how long it's holding the spin for. A nice central axis spin. Using low altitude engines, which is an interesting choice, allows it to travel faster and more efficiently at low altitude, but at higher altitude it's not going to get so much distance as the other engines would. If I like this a lot, I may end up replacing the engines, just to try and improve matters of distance. However, as it stands, this is a very capable plane. And it doesn't even crash when I do that. Let's see if we can do a barrel roll. Oh, oh, oh! Not a barrel roll, but a flip. Yeah, I'm liking this a lot. It just does not want to crash. It's basically self-righting. It's amazing. Really is a fantastic plane. Very well balanced. Oh, around the building. Yeah, yes, 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 yes. Absolutely, 100% yes. This is the Epsilon Mark III, submitted by Sir Tatalot. Thank you very much. That gets a tick. And now let's crash it. Boosh! That's what you get for trying to be perfect. Okay, back to the Space Center. Sorry for that outburst there. I don't think we're going to be able to make it through all the submissions in this one video, so I'm going to be ending it off soon. So far, we've got a tick on the MTech Falcon, the Duna mobile platform, the CE Jet 1-4, and the one we've just had, which was the Epsilon Mark III. So, we'll take a look at one more. And we may end up doing another episode of this, or I'll just do it in my own time. Right, let's take a look. Should we do the next one on the list? The Falcon 1. We've already had something called a Falcon. Hang on. The MTech Falcon. Oh, I guess Falcon is a pretty nice name for a plane. It's unsurprising, unsurprising that two people would have the same name. Yeah, we are going in order, I don't want to lose my place. So the Falcon 1, max height 24 kilometers, goes halfway around the world, takes 20 to 30 minutes, works best with Rapier engines, takeoff speed of 65 meters per second, goes pretty damn fast, and Jeb likes it. Well, if Jeb likes it, I have no choice but to test it then, do I? The Falcon 1, submitted by Kyle. Thank you very much for the submission, and you will be our last plane for today. Let's take a look at this. And also, guys, in the comments, let me know whether you would like to see another episode of this. I am so glad I didn't quit at that point, or skip this one. This is unique! This is unique! Wow. I have never seen a plane that looks like this before. Okay. I like how you said works best with Rapier engines. It only has Rapier engines, what are you talking about? Let's turn off automatic switching. There we go. Yeah, it takes off pretty damn quickly. Whoa, oh. Doesn't like pitching up an awful lot, does it? But it certainly goes pretty damn fast, I'll give you that. I haven't seen a lot of craft that actually use Rapier engines recently. I'm not sure what the reason being. Oh god, this thing's responsive. Fine control. There we go, fine control. I think it's just that in terms of planes, it's a bit of a compromise. But this is good because this means we have a high chance of actually getting into orbit with this thing. Even though it's not intended for that. I would test it to try and go into orbit, but I have a feeling it might take a bit too long. No, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to see how far this thing can get to orbit. I'm going to turn manual switching back on. What is the switching key? I'm not sure there was a key for it. I think you have to have a hotkey set up, don't you? Yeah. It has a very slow pitch upwards, which is not great. And I'm also going to just change my modes. Ooh. Actually, it's probably a better idea not to try and do something that it wasn't intended for. So, here we go. Back to chase camera mode, which we also love. Yeah, I'm not gonna take it into orbit right now. We'll be finishing off very soon. But I do like it. I just like how unique it is. It has a very small wing surface, which is very unusual for most planes. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up. Ooh. The thing that hinders it most is how slow it pulls up. Really slowly. Really, really slowly. And that makes me a bit hesitant to rely on it, because no matter how good a pilot I am, it can only escape at certain times. I think the problem is they seem to be pitching in the wrong direction. I might do some testing around to see what I can change, perhaps. Because I will be changing quite a few of these. Depending, it depends. But it's okay, it's like a half rocket, half plane, which I guess is what you expect from Rapier engines. It goes very, very quickly at low altitudes. I can see myself having use for this, and this could even be used on Duna, provided we use the... It's also flying on one engine, which is quite impressive. Or nearly flying on one engine. I was trying to toggle the modes and it exploded. Ah, well. It's quite interesting. I'm going to actually give that a tick, I think, because I would like to see that again. The Falcon 1, submitted by... Where is it on my list? It was submitted by Kyle, wasn't it? Falcon 1, submitted by Kyle. Thank you very much for your submission. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video. Been a bit of a long, been a bit of a weird, been a bit of a not standard or conventional episode of the Kerbal Space Program. If you would like to see me test more of these live on video, then please leave a comment or a like in the description or on the video respectively. And without further ado, I guess I shall see you all next time. There is still time to submit your own crafts if you really want to. However, I have narrowed down the submissions by limiting it to those that have project in the subject title and a .craft file as an attachment. Links to external sites such as Mediafire I won't be clicking on. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you all next time.